Good morning. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great week so far. So episode 5 out today. We're chugging right along. So the first 4 episodes, we laid some good groundwork, and today we are going to get into some good stuff that laid the foundation for us, and now we are ready to fly. So first things first, I hope everybody's doing well. Do you have your coffee or your tea? I've always got mine with me. So I've been doing this intermittent fasting, and I've been stretching my fasting hours longer and longer. So I started at like 16 hours or something, and now I'm kind of going back and forth between 19 and 20 hours and trying to get all of my calories in a 4 to 5 hour window, usually in the evening between 2 and 6 or 2 and 7, something like that. So it's been an interesting journey so far, and my tea is definitely helping me all morning. And then in the evenings when I am usually reaching for that bite of something sweet before bed. I'm just gonna make sure my phone is off, hearing things dinging. So, okay, so that's a little behind the scenes. Let's dive in. So like I said, episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, we kind of laid a foundation. We talked about the definitions. We talked about what anxiety is like for you. We talked about the idea of escape and how we all try to escape and how that never works, clever as we think we are. And then we talked about what is the goal with anxiety. So if we can't escape from it, what the heck are we supposed to do with this emotion? And of course, the underlying theme of the goal episode was about telling a different, better story around anxiety. We're going to tell stories anyway. We are storytellers by nature, human beings. We are thought-producing machines. So we'd like to tell stories about the things that are going on in our life and our experiences. So if we're going to tell a story about how we're feeling, we're going to tell a story about our life, we might as well make sure that it feels good. So building on all of that, today, episode number 5, this is going to be one of the episodes that I refer to often down the road and that we return to as a different sort of foundation, because everything kind of builds from here. This is the first episode where we really introduce the idea of thought work. And so let's back up just a little bit and talk about coaching in general. So the reason that I've launched this podcast and the work that I do is as a life coach. And I truly believe that until we are in a position where life coaches are as readily available and as popular and as, what's the word I'm looking for? Like as present as other professionals like personal trainers, chiropractors, yoga teachers, acupuncturists. We have all of these great ways of taking care of our physical body, but we don't pay attention to our mental and emotional selves, our mental and emotional health, quite as much as we do our physical health. But I truly think we're starting to see that shift, and that we're starting to see how closely all of these things are, first of all, how they're tied together, and also how mental and emotional health can create physical health, right? If you're feeling mentally and emotionally well and fit and capable and energetic and just like you're on your game, then things like physical health, things like exercising, things like eating the right foods, some of that's not nearly as tricky. I would say 100% of that is not nearly as tricky. So anyway, that's my little soapbox about the future of life coaching and where this industry is headed, and how getting life coaching into more and more people's lives and having more and more people working with a professional to optimize their mental and emotional health. I truly think that is the most valuable thing that we can do as a society, as in our communities, that we can do for our kids. So anyway, today's episode, which is called The Power of Mindset, introducing the model. The model is a tool that I use with my clients. It's a tool that I use on myself. It's a tool that I use with my kids. I use this tool every day in at least 2 of those capacities. It's something that I encourage my clients to use every single day. And it is super simple, but it's really, really powerful. So before I get too far down the pike, I put the link in the show notes, I'm not on a podcast right now. I put the link in the comments of this Facebook Live where you can go to the website and grab your free worksheets that go along with this episode, because you're going to want those handy. It just gives you a place to write this down. And this is the sort of work that you don't want to think about while you're driving or while you're at the grocery store, while you're cooking. It is the sort of work that gets truly integrated into your life when you give yourself 5 minutes to sit down and write it out. You don't need 30 minutes. You don't need an hour. This doesn't have to be anything dramatic, but you do need to commit to writing things down on paper and not just thinking about it as you're going through your day. So come on over to the website, get those worksheets. That'll be helpful for this episode for sure. But the gist of the model and the reason that I called this episode The Power of Mindset is that everything comes back to how we're thinking. How you're thinking about yourself, your relationships, your work, your finances, your health, your home, your parenting, all of it. All of the results that you're getting in your life are because of how you're thinking about those things. So in the episode, I break this down a little bit more, and we're going to talk about this, believe me, in future episodes. Next week, we're going to focus strictly on thoughts, and the week after that, we're going to focus strictly on feelings, because those are two of the categories that go into the model, and those kind of need their own episode. So let's break the model down really quickly here. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, well, unless we want to hang out for hours, right? We could talk about this all day. There are 5 categories of the model, and everything in the world fits into one of these 5 categories. So let's start at the top with circumstances. Circumstances are anything that you cannot control and that are factual, real, like you could prove it in a court of law sorts of things. Things like the weather, things that, anything somebody else does, you cannot control. You cannot control what anybody else says. All of those kinds of things are circumstances. They have to be factual. We have to be very careful to get our stories and our opinions and any drama out of the circumstance. So circumstances are facts, they are external, and they can be proven in a court of law. Okay. From there, we go into thoughts. Thoughts are the one-sentence comments that go through your head all day long. And we have these about everything. A lot of our thoughts are about circumstances. So that's why we start at the top with circumstances and define that first, because most of your thoughts are going to be about a circumstance. It's going to be raining outside and you're going to have a thought about it. Somebody's going to say something to you and you're going to have a thought about it. Our thoughts, before we get too far down the pike here, our thoughts are how we make meaning of the world. It is how we understand our life's experiences. It's how we understand our relationships. It's how we understand everything that's going on around us. So thoughts aren't a bad thing. We can't stop thinking. Humans are thought-producing machines, okay? If you are alive and breathing, and I mean, this is whether you're awake or you're asleep, because we know about, we're thinking all the time. You are thinking. Your mind is creating one-sentence thoughts that are going on and on, chatter all the day long, right? Okay, so we've got circumstances, facts of your life, external to you, not under your control. Thoughts are the one-sentence comments that go through your mind, usually about a circumstance. After that comes feelings. 100% of your feelings are based on your thinking. So this is why we call it the power of mindset, right? All of your feelings are because of how you're thinking. Feelings come from thoughts. So then under feelings are actions. Actions are all of your behavior. So think of actions as not only actions, but reactions, overreactions, but also inaction. If there are actions that you want to be taking, if somebody wants to start working out, or if they want to start meditating, or if they want to start saving money, those are actions that they want to be taking, but it can look like inaction, right? Behavior can look like inaction. I want to be saving money, but I'm not. I want to be meditating, but I'm not. So action can also be inaction. And then from there, so we've got circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and at the very bottom we have results. Results are the ultimate outcome of the actions that you are taking in your life, short and long term. So in the episode, I talk much more in detail about this and link all of this together. We talk about how these things relate to each other. Circumstances are external, they're outside of your control. You have a thought about it. Those thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings drive your actions, and your actions create all of the results that you see in your life. So when somebody comes to me, a new client comes to me, and they've got a result like they're 20 pounds overweight, or they are $50,000 in debt, or they have a job, that can be both a circumstance or a result, right? I have this job. Maybe they don't want that job. Maybe they want a different job in a totally different industry. Those are things that we put either in, so like I said, some of those we can put in the circumstance line. We put those in the results line, and then we back things up and we see, okay, what were the actions that led to this result? How were you feeling when you were acting that way? What sort of thoughts did you have to create those feelings that drove the actions that you took that got you the result that you're showing up here with? And then we start digging into those thoughts. Here are the thoughts that got you where you are. Did you even know that you were thinking those thoughts? Most of the time we don't. Now we start challenging those thoughts. We start questioning those thoughts. We start shifting those thoughts. Can we start baby stepping those thoughts away from something that's creating a result you don't want into something that creates a result you do want? So this is just like a little baby taste of the model and what we're talking about in episode number 5, the power of mindset, and how important it is that we are paying attention to how we think. This is, they teach us about algebra. They teach us about the history and capitals of all the states. And nobody ever pulls us aside in school and says, okay, here's the deal. You're responsible for how you're thinking and feeling. And here's how this goes down. Here's your thoughts create your feelings create your behavior, all of your actions, reactions, overreactions, inaction. And all of that creates the results that you are ultimately going to get in your life. So if you want to create the life that you want to get the results in your life that you want, we've got to start at the top and be very careful about the thoughts, feelings, and actions that you are deliberately, intentionally putting into your mind, therefore creating the feelings and actions that you want. Nobody ever tells us this, right? That's why I think this is the secret to the universe. Nobody pulls us aside and tells us this. But this is one of those things that's kind of like gravity. It works whether you're paying attention or not, right? Gravity doesn't need you to pay attention or to believe in it in order for it to be effective. Same thing with this. Your feelings, your actions, and your results don't need you to be paying attention to how you're thinking in order to be falling into place over and over again like they are. They don't care. They're just doing what they do. And if you're not paying attention to how you're thinking, that's on you. And that, my friends, is the power of coaching. This is one of the biggest gifts that I think I give myself, that I give my clients, that I've armed my kids with. When they show up to me and they say, so-and-so hurt my feelings, I say, oh, no. Let's back this up. What were you thinking about? What all was going down? What was your thought? That's not fair. He shouldn't have done that. That's what creates your feelings. Nobody can create your feelings except for you. Nobody gets to create emotions in your body unless you consent to what they're saying by having a thought about it. It's the truth. It's tricky stuff. So this is simple, right? 5 categories. This is how they relate: circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Pretty simple, super powerful. And believe you me, I've been coaching for over 7 years now. And this is something that I do every day with myself still. This is work that we are never done doing. It's like eating healthy. It's like getting good sleep. It's like exercise. We're never done. You clean up your house, you got to clean up your mind. We do it over and over and over again. You get better at it. You get more used to what has to happen. You see your patterns and you start knowing, okay, here's probably what's going to show up. Here's a trigger for me. Here's an obstacle for me. You start getting really familiar with those things and you can clean it up quicker and quicker, but we got to clean it up. This is something I recommend everybody use and work with daily in order to truly create the life that you want to live. If you have dreams, if you have habits, if you have aspirations or goals that you want to meet and you just don't know how, this is how. This is how. So come on over to the website, grab the worksheets, get on whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify. I'm coming on more platforms soon, I promise, and I'll have info for that. As soon as I have it, I will let you know. But download episode 5, give that a listen. Let me know what you think. Feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you. Either give me a comment here, DM me. You can always email me. You can contact me through my website. Also, when you get the free worksheets, there is a way to schedule a free mini session with me. You would be surprised what we can do in 15 minutes together, because we're going to use the model, we're going to plug everything in, and we're going to work through, the thoughts, feelings, actions, and results, and see what is happening in your life that you don't want to be happening or that you're no longer happy with. Sorry, I'm getting choked up. And then we're going to start reversing that, right? We're going to start challenging the thoughts. We're going to start looking at the feelings. We're going to start seeing what you can create on purpose instead of living with your mind unchaperoned. Okay? All right, that's all I've got for you today, my friends. So I hope you're having an awesome week. I hope you have an awesome end to your week. And I will see you online. I will see you on the podcast. And then I will see you again same time next Wednesday here on Facebook Live. Bye, guys.